If you don't know how much the bank's going to give you, why are you even looking at houses yet? What's going on, friends? Matt Carter here again. Thanks for joining me, and if this is your first time or you're returning, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and get notified so you don't miss anything coming up in the future. Now, today I'm going to be talking about some common mistakes that first-time home buyers make to make sure that you have the best possible chance in securing your first home, or if you're buying your second home, maybe this will just help you along in your journey. Let's just jump right into it. Number one on the list is not going to get pre-approved. Now, this is definitely the most common thing I see when I get a new referral coming in. One of the very first questions I always ask them, have you been to a mortgage specialist or your bank to be pre-approved? A lot of people like to look at all the houses on Realtor.ca, but when you actually want to go and start acting on everything, you want to make sure that you've been pre-approved by a lender and you know how much they're going to lend you in order to know where to start in your home search. So once you go and talk to a bank or a mortgage specialist, they're going to ask for a bunch of information, documentation, and they're going to take into account your income and your debt, and they're going to have a ratio that they put together. And at the end of the day, what they're going to give you is the amount of money that the bank is going to lend you, as well as the rate at which they're going to lend it to you at. So don't be afraid to shop around for different rates in the city. Talk to different banks, talk to different mortgage lenders. And if you need any of those contacts, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you out. All right, number two on the list is working out your budget. Now, you're just saying, well, you just told me to go get pre-approved. Isn't that my budget? Not exactly. So what the bank is going to lend you is exactly that. How much money the bank is willing to lend you. Now, your budget may be different than that. You may want to spend less than what the bank is going to give you and not max out on your home costs. Find out what you want your lifestyle to be. If you want to put a lot of money into your house, make it a staycation, especially during the pandemic that we're going on, and make your home the best possible place to be since you're spending a lot of time in it, then go ahead. But if you like to travel, if you like to do extracurriculars, anything of that nature, make sure you plan accordingly and make your budget work around that. Okay, next one on the list is working with a listing agent. Now, a lot of people think that they can just go through an open house when we're able to do them, or contact a listing agent through Realtor.ca and do all your business through them. Well, you can actually go and do that. The listing agent doesn't have your best interest in mind. The listing agent is in fact working for the seller and has the seller's best interest in mind. As much as you want to say they're going to help you out, give you the inside track, maybe lower commission or tell you what's going on in the listing, it's just not the case. You're not going to get the best possible deal or be the most efficient at finding a house if you're going through the listing agent. Not only will the listing agent not get you ahead on offer day, but you don't get all the other perks that come with working with a buyer's agent. Working with an agent to help you find a home, you can see homes as soon as they hit the market, access to off-market listings, off-market deals, and when you do want to go see a house, they can schedule a showing as soon as possible, get you through, and you know the whole time that they're working in your best interest. Also, another big one not a lot of people think about is if you do purchase a home and down the line something goes south, that you need to fight for your side and advocate for yourself. You know that you have an agent in your corner that's going to be doing that. And if you go through the listing agent and things go south, well, you know who they're going to be advocating for and who they're going to be fighting for because that's who they had their contract with. All right, number 4 on the list is not anticipating all the closing costs that go with purchasing a home. Now, most people know that you need a minimum of 5% down in order to purchase a home. Now, that's very common knowledge for a lot of people. All the background costs, such as lawyer fees, land transfer taxes, registration fees, and a few others that I'm not going to go into detail here today, those just creep up on you, and when closing day comes, you'll need to write a check for a large sum of money that a lot of people don't anticipate going into it. If you want a full breakdown of all those costs, I've actually made another video that goes in pretty good detail and will give you a good understanding of what to expect once you've purchased your home and are getting close to that closing day. All right, next on our list, number 5, is holding out for that perfect home. Now, unfortunately, you're a first-time home buyer, and I know, like many of us, we're going to have this huge list of things that we want to get in our first house. 3 beds, 2 bath, a pool in the backyard, finished basement, close to shopping, schools, downtown. Unfortunately, most likely that home doesn't exist, and if it does, it's going to be way out of your price range. So the unfortunate reality of it, once you have your list of things that you want in your house and the things that you need in your house, which are two different things, you're going to probably have to compromise when you're looking for your first home and settle for about half to maybe 75% of those things on your list. You'll also probably have to broaden your horizons a little bit and understand that you're going to have a house that maybe has some shortcomings in some areas that you're going to have to deal with, maybe some renovations, a little bit worse area of town, not as close to those amenities that you're looking for, and maybe in your next house, you can move up and fix some of those shortfalls that you had in your first home. So moving on the list, the next one we have is lowballing in a hot market. All across North America right now, and especially in London, we're in a super hot seller's market, so it's really tough for buyers to find houses. Sending in an offer at or slightly above listing price during a multiple offer situation is a really good way to help perpetuate the home buying process and leave yourself feeling exhausted at the end of the day. If there are multiple offers on a home, even if it's 2 or 3, there's a 99.99% chance that that home is going to go for over asking. So you need to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward when you are offering on any property. The problem with going in at list price or slightly above in a multiple offer situation is that you're just driving up the price of that home. If you know you are priced out of your range and you're just throwing in an offer just for the sake of it, what you're ultimately doing is adding to the number of offers on that listing. At the end of the day, the people who can afford it are going to keep driving the price even higher, which down the road is going to lead to higher price homes in your searchable area. And at the end of the day, you're going to spend more money. Since you're going to be competing for similar properties in the future, because you drove the price of that house up, down the road, you're going to be paying more money for comparable properties. Next one on the list kind of ties into my previous point, and it's being short-sighted in a hot market. Now, when it comes offer day and you're debating how much money to put in your offer, $10,000 may sound like a lot of money, but at the end of the day, when you work it into your mortgage, it's usually about a cup of coffee a day or a case of beer a month. That's the way I like to phrase it to my clients. And by not putting that $10,000 down today, if you're perpetually searching for homes, in 6 to 12 months, that $10,000 could turn into $50,000 due to the inflation of the house values and possibly pricing yourself out of the current market that you're looking at. So number 8 and the last one on our list today is making big purchases prior to your closing. So at this point, you've already purchased your home and you're waiting for closing day to come. Make sure during that period that you're not making any expensive purchases that are going to go and impact your debt ratio. Now, what I mean by that, and some good examples, would be going out and purchasing or leasing a new car, boat, or any other expensive purchases that are going to go against your credit rating and further against your debt ratio, ultimately leading to your lender not lending you the original amount of money that they had set out. It's possible if you do this that when closing day does come, the lender will say that you're no longer qualified for the amount of money that they originally intended, and that you're going to have to come up with that difference in cash, which a lot of people don't just have sitting around in their bank account. Make sure leading up to your closing that you're keeping everything within reason, or you're paying for things with cash. Just make sure that you leave enough money for closing costs at the end of the day. Well, that about wraps it up for today. Thanks for joining me. And if you found any of this content valuable, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to my content, and make sure you get notified for any future videos coming up in the future. And I'll see you guys in the next video.